My journey into craft started very early in my life, working alongside my father, who was a brilliant engineer. He passed away 10 years ago, and I find inspiration every day thinking about him. A lot of the emotion in the work I do is an ode to honor his memory, and that's something that is present in my heart, and I hope that it also shows in the way I align my eye, my hand, and my heart in the work that I do.
Somehow I got into creating little garments, like on a sewing machine, and there was a teacher in school that inspired me really, and she was so chic, how she dressed, and she taught us how to sew. We were taking part in a competition. I hand-painted silk and I made my own design, and then we had to show it on a runway. And that's how I decided with 16, I think, to become a designer and go to fashion school.
I started with a sculptor named Tony Bloom. When I was 15, I got a job just cleaning his studio, and slowly over the years, I got to apprentice under him. He had recommended that I go into the trades as a way to make money, but also learn how to work with all the different tools and learn how to work. He had always kind of said, if I am passionate enough about it, then I'll make artwork or design anything, no matter what. He had always talked about fabricating things with sharp edges, and that was his draw towards doing metalwork. And in some ways, my draw towards doing clay was like being able to explore more organic things. And so I think from that, it made me really interested in what different materials have to offer characteristic-wise. And in that, what story a material can tell. And so it becomes more of a conversation and collaboration with the material.
I guess the fact that I was trained as an architect helps me and limits me, or has limited me in the past in many ways, in the sense that at the beginning of my practice, I used to think of the work that I was going to do as a defined form already, and I found that that was very limiting. So these days, and for many years now, I've been trying to kind of deconstruct that way of thinking, to let myself inspire more by the material, by the way certain components in that material mix or shape or behave, and that is informing more the final shape of the pieces that I do.
I am creating something that is a solve for women and men that didn't know they needed to be solved, or they didn't know it was missing in their life. And it's really the biggest reward when I meet customers face to face, or they send me messages or emails and they say like, oh my God, this is so much what I wanted and it's so cool. What I love so much on designing for this brand is that it's always a challenge. And I make it a challenge, of course. It's not a simple piece. It has to be something unexpected and challenging to make. Otherwise, I find it boring.
Depending on the work that I'm working on, sometimes I get in this kind of trance, pretty much, where I find my body and every muscle of my body so connected to what I'm doing. And because a lot of the things that I do are pretty physical, that I find myself moving so gently around my space and moving with the work pieces that I'm handling and the strokes that I'm taking with my hand tools, that sometimes I come back home and I almost like feel that I've been dancing all day in a way.
There's a lot of failure and experimenting and problems that come up that you have to learn from and accept. And ceramics is really a great test in acceptance. And I've got a lot personally out of that, where it's like being okay with things not working out, but trying to see the positives. I think that's also like a big source of my inspiration for the work, is like I'm really into puzzles and figuring out how to bring it all together. There's a joy in that, whether it's like from getting a bunch of reclaimed mud from down the street and then figuring out how to make it my own, to then selling it and figuring out how to pay my bills. It's like, it's all a giant puzzle, living a life like this.
I think inspiration is everywhere, for me at least, like, and it always has been. I see a car I see a building, I see like a jewelry or a hat, and I connect it to something totally different that like other people probably wouldn't see or would connect it that way. And I think part of this is really experience. Like I always had to look for inspiration, not from competitors, but I needed fresh inspiration from other fields to make something new and meaningful. It's intuition, I think, or creativity on a level that is like my own approach.
Receiving this award is an incredible recognition. I think a lot about those endless hours, those endless days where I've been dreaming of like materializing this vision of doing something that I absolutely love, and to be recognized in such way, it just fills me with new, renovated motivation to keep going.
I was friends with Judd, and I met him like in the hallways at 1000 Parker. I even had the opportunity to make some parts for him. So it makes this award extra special. And I would hope that he would be like pretty stoked that I won it. And we all spent so much time in our workspace, pacing around thinking, what the heck am I doing? And so to have that like outside pat on the back and say, you're doing it, it's good, can really give you the courage to just like keep going.
To me personally, this award means a recognition that is really special, because I feel part of this environment here in BC. It's interesting because artists in Austria, for instance, often don't have that support and that love. And I feel like BC has that extra layer of love for their artists, and this award expresses that love. So yeah, makes me very happy.
I believe that art and culture is important in our communities, in the way that we like tell stories, in the way that we live with each other. When we support each other here, then we're enabling our friends and our neighbors and the people in our community to pursue their passions and their interests. And being able to have people from all over the province contribute to that really helps shape how we experience Vancouver or Nelson, BC, or anywhere else in the province. I always want my work to have that like joyful side. It's like, that's what it is for me. It's like, it brings me a lot of joy. I hope that my work can like bring other people that same like joyful or curious feeling of wanting to slow down and really look at things and investigate things themselves.
The cultural contribution of my work, I hope it shows through the honesty and dignity and truth in it. I believe that art is a bridge that allows us to connect and heal. It's also a mirror that gives you an opportunity to reflect yourself and your thoughts and your words and what you think about this world. And I'm very honored to be in a thriving part of the world where that culture is growing and growing.
For a moment, you turn to a piece of art or a piece of beautiful clothing that you really love, or you put it on, you go outside and you feel like better, stronger, happier. And maybe it's just for a moment, but I think we need all these little moments. That's what I hope for when people buy my capes, that they not only feel protected against the elements, which is really important, but they feel empowered. They feel like little superheroes, right? If I can achieve that, it makes me really happy.